On today's Fit to Eat, I'll be preparing brown rice cakes and shrimp etouffee with turnip greens. Our guest is Enrika Williams, owner of Fauna Food Works in Jackson. Registered dietitian Rebecca Turner has some tips on how to add fiber into your diet, and we'll take a trip to Delta Blues Rice in Greenville to see just how much work goes into every single grain of their rice. It's going to be a great show, so stay tuned. Welcome back to Fit to Eat. I'm your host, Rob Stinson. Today's guest is the owner of Fauna Food Works in Jackson, Enrika Williams. Enrika, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You know what? I'm excited that I actually have a worker chef with me today, because I know...
I work a little bit.
Yeah, oh, I bet you do, huh? Well, I tell you what we're going to do. So this is going back to kind of my roots. This is a Creole recipe, but done in a healthy twist. So we're going to do a shrimp etouffee, but keep it kind of on the healthy side, not a lot of flour, in other words. So keeping away from most of the salt as well. And then at the same time, having some beautiful fresh shrimp, and we're going to have some fun with this. So the first thing I want to do, and I've taken the liberty of already cooking some rice, but to show the folks, I do the rice in this with some beautiful salt-free vegetable stock. So if you would, let's pop this in the pan over here, and I'm going to have you just add that stock into it, and then our brown rice.
Okay.
And then we will, if you'll turn that left burner on, we'll get this one right here going.
Okay.
And we'll just cover it for now and maybe turn the heat down on low. And that'll be cooking as we go. I may have you come back to that.
Okay.
Because what I wanted to do in making, we're going to do a kind of twist on white rice, which to me, you know, one, isn't as healthy as brown rice, and two, it's kind of boring to put together. And tell you what, first what I'm going to do is actually start with just a little bit and about a half a teaspoon of oil. So we don't use a lot. I've already got that pan good and hot.
Nice and hot.
And I'm going to add in kind of our Creole trinity. So onion, and I'm going to zap it with a little garlic, bell pepper, celery, and I even am going to throw some red bell pepper in.
For color.
And that's for color, yeah.
Nice.
You know, I mean, might as well make it look pretty. And let's see here. I'm going to get that. There we go. And now some garlic.
It already smells really good in here.
I know, isn't that the truth?
Yes.
And we're going to kind of cook this part so that we can have it where it isn't too hot in a minute. Now, instead of any flour in this dish, you're going to see I'm using grated cauliflower. So it's kind of a fun way to add a little thickness without adding any of the flour. White pepper, black pepper. And I tell you what, I know you can.
I can.
I know you can do this for me. I love it. I've got a worker. Perfect. That's fine. Perfect. Okay. So next thing, I like to use fresh herbs when I can, and I know you do at Fauna Food Works.
Yes.
So I'm going to throw in some fresh oregano.
Okay.
And what I wanted to show people, a lot of people are scared, I think, to use fresh herbs. They don't know what to do with it, you know, and how to use it and get the most out of it. So I'm going to actually take a quick second. This is some beautiful fresh oregano.
Nice.
So what I do, and you may have your own tactic, I pull down on the greens from that portion. I like to chop a little bit of the stem, and I'm going to do the same on these, getting as many of the leaves as I can with as little of the stalk as I can, and then picking through the top portion so that we don't end up with a lot of stringiness. And that's really a perfect amount that we're going to use. And then just coming back and coarse chopping it. And I'm telling you, anybody out there can do something along that line.
Yes.
And I'm going to show one other little trick I do. After we get it to a certain point, there's always going to be a degree of the herbs themselves that stick to your knife, and rather than getting them all over your hands, I keep one of the knife.
Okay.
And then just pull it into the little pile that we're going to use, and we've got a beautiful little fresh, amount of oregano. So we're going to save that for a little later in the recipe. And tell me a little bit about Fauna Food Works. I am thrilled because I tell you what, I've cheated and peeked and seen online some incredible looking food.
Well, thank you for peeking. So, Fauna Food Works is actually, it is a brainchild of mine. It is just a way for me to put all of the things that have inspired me, things that I like. I'm incredibly Southern, so those things all come together for Fauna Food Works. Fauna basically is a study of a group of animals in a particular region. And so what I wanted to do was to tie food to us from all over the world in a way where we can all relate to it. Food is very relatable. Being Southern, as I love and always carry that with me, it's just really important to understand what Southern can be, what it is, and what it represents, and that's food, and it's hospitality, and it's different things. So Fauna Food Works is a mixture of all of that, plus some other whimsical, crazy stuff.
Where could where could people watching us find your food?
We do have a web page, actually an Instagram page. You can find us at Fauna Food Works on Instagram, and also Facebook. We have a Fauna Food Works page as well.
Awesome, awesome.
You should come check us out.
And I tell you what, all of these recipes, nobody's going to ever remember. This one especially, it's got tons of ingredients. They can go to mpbonline.org/fit-to-eat to find everything that we're doing here today. Okay, so here's where we're going to go with this. So this is going to naturally cool down because I've already cooked this rice. And we're going to kind of stir this together and try and get those hot ingredients, because when I add the egg is going to be the glue.
And you're just using the egg white for the...
Yeah, we're trying to keep this good and healthy, okay? So that it really keeps cholesterol level down. And in this now, we can kind of mix that around, and that egg white will hopefully bond these together. Mixing it in here, and then we're going to throw a little bit of oil back in the pan and get this all around. Now that we've got the oil in the pan, I'm going to try and let this soak in just a little bit. And then all we're going to do is kind of form this in a way. This is where you got to get kind of down and dirty. And I'm just going to kind of make it, and it's just a light little piece like this. And I'm going to do 2 of these for this dish. And then the key on this one is just not to move them. To try and let it sear, because I want to try and keep this to where it'll stay together.
Okay.
So anyhow, well, I tell you what, it sounds to me like you're off to a great start with the business that really utilizes what Mississippi is all about.
Absolutely.
And I think that's kind of the essence of what we do on this show. The whole idea for me was to try and keep this as focused on Mississippi product. The only difference is that we really try to keep it together with always being healthy and find a way to avoid a lot of salt. And you notice, no salt in anything that we've had at all. And that's important, I think, in a lot of different ways. So,
because no salt doesn't mean no flavor or any, depth to it.
That's the part. And I'm sure you probably see it in your restaurant. I see it in mine. People haven't even tasted my food.
And they start to sprinkle the salt.
It gets to you too, huh?
It does.
I know, and I want to sit there and say something, but then, I'm like, well, everybody's got
conditioning. It's just, you're
it
just
really
used
is
to doing that.
I'm going to grab this spatula out and just kind of flatten them a little bit more.
This is a great idea with the rice and the egg white. I never thought about using that for the binding.
And it really is kind of an easy way now. Let's see if they've solidified, and they have. You got to really, this is a tricky one. And people watching this, how do you put that in a recipe? Because what you really want to do is move it around a little bit so it's got a nice little coating. And then I'm trying to shape them at the same time so it just doesn't fall apart. Because this one, the key to keeping it healthy is that you don't have a lot of egg in it. You could put the egg yolk in, and then it really is more like real glue. But this is going to work, I think, just perfectly. They look so pretty though,
They
huh?
do already.
Isn't that the great part about it?
Yes.
All right, well, I'll tell you what. We're gonna take a short break and visit a rice farm in Greenville, Mississippi. Their family has operated the farm for almost 100 years, and they're going to tell us why the Delta Blues soil is ideal for Delta Blues rice. Take a look.
At Delta Blues Rice, we have been in operation since 2013. The way we got started, we had a small little handheld mill, and it gave us a real rough product, a broken grain product. And we would mill rice every year for Christmas and Thanksgiving and that kind of stuff, and give it away to friends and family. And everybody was like, "This is so good. What are you doing different?" And so from there, we decided to start buying equipment, and that's how Delta Blues Rice was formed. This is the rice plant. You know, as it grows, it's going to be green like this. That's not mature enough to harvest, but this rice right here, it's dried out a little bit, it's turned yellow. That's getting to be more mature. And from there, we'll put about 1 to 2 inches of water over the whole field, and the rice stays on flood until we're ready to drain about 2 or 3 weeks before harvest. And we start harvesting around August, September. Rice, honestly, it's a harder crop to grow, just because yields can be impacted so drastically by heat. If you have a lot of heat during the pollination period, the rice won't produce a really good head. We process probably 60 acres of what we grow on the farm, and then we run that through the milling facility. I want to be in the mill to actually mill the rice so I can see how it looks coming out, just to ensure that it's fresh. This is what rice looks like. It's off the plant. It still has a husk attached to it. This machine right here is the rice mill. This removes the husk, which gives you brown rice. This part takes the rice bran off of the rice, and that gives you white rice. From the rice mill, it goes through just a little sifting process, and this is called a color sorter. What this machine does is it uses the camera. As the rice falls through it, it looks at the colors of the grain, and if it's like a black color, it'll use a little jet of air to jet it out, and that way it gets it out of the process. And this machine, what it does is it weighs out 1 pound of rice, and then from there I just push a button and it fills the bag up. Delta Blues Rice has 5 products. We have a jasmine rice, your regular standard long grain white and brown rices, and then we have a brown rice grit and a white rice grits. People think, when they hear the word grits, they think of corn. Rice grits are just broken grains of rice. If you like rice, you're gonna love rice grits because they cook up real creamy. I don't like to have a lot of rice pre-milled just because of spoilage issues. Just want to keep it as clean as possible. So I might mill every week. It's kind of how I do it, just to make sure the rice is as fresh as possible. I actually had a chef tell me, he's like, I opened up your bag of rice and I smelled it. He's like, your rice smelled fresh. And I was like, it made me think, how often do you hear of fresh rice? You hear of fresh peaches and apples, but you don't hear of fresh rice. So I thought that was an interesting concept.
Welcome back to Fit to Eat. If you're just joining us, I'm here with Enrika Williams, and we are right in the middle of preparing today's recipe. All right, Enrika, I tell you what, we're moving along. So I took the liberty of turning over these beautiful little rice cakes, and I'm going to turn the heat down on those so that we'll have them and just kind of let them warm in that pan. Now the fun part.
All
right,
grill.
yeah, we're going to get into doing an actual kind of etouffee base. And here is kind of the beginning is very traditional. So the Creole trinity of onions, bell pepper, and celery. Look at that. She is there. You're going to spoil me now, I swear to God you are. All right, I throw garlic into everything I do Creole, just like back in the days that I was working in New Orleans. We're gonna toss in our seasoning, so black pepper, white pepper. How spicy do you like your food?
I like a nice warmth to it.
Okay, so not too hot.
Not too hot.
I'm gonna throw in, this is cayenne pepper, and anybody who uses it, it is like dynamite. You put too much and you can blow up your food.
Yes, you can.
All right, now some beautiful fresh herbs going in there. Some oregano, And then instead of flour, like we did before, the cauliflower.
That's a great tip. That is a really good
I
tip.
love it. I use it all the time.
That's a really
I
good
really do. And we're really gonna kind of let this brown a little bit more, and then gotta have the color. And I'm gonna put just a touch more oil. It looks like we need just a touch more.
Okay.
So we've got about a half a teaspoon, and I added. All right, now let's go ahead. The star of the show.
The shrimp.
And I tell you what, some beautiful Gulf shrimp. Guys, please try to be aware. There are so many great products that we have that are born in America, and I just try to get people to buy American products. All right, now we're going to throw in some fresh basil. And some fresh chopped tomato, not too much. All right, you ready? We got to get our shrimp drunk. Nathaniel always joked about that when I was cooking with him. Baby, he'd tell me, we got to get our shrimp drunk. So we'd always go that route. And look how pretty, huh?
Already.
I know, man. It really. All right, so while those are cooking, and I'm going to add in a little bit of tomato paste.
Okay.
Okay, and tomato paste is good and healthy for you, believe it or not. So, and I'm saving some wine and some stock just to add a little bit of juice into this. Let's talk about, I think it's really kind of interesting when you started talking about Fauna. And I know that you really kind of started farm-driven, but that you've done fine dining.
Yes.
So the fine to the farm to the fine, and Fauna, it all seems to go hand in hand.
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit about that, and I'll take over.
Well, definitely food and being Southern is really important to me. I went to culinary school in Atlanta. So I graduated from culinary school, so there was lots of, technique.
Little stock.
Just a little bit of stock. And just French technique, working with French chefs. And so I cut my teeth in a lot of fine dining restaurants in Atlanta. So just the finessing of that has always been something that I've always been inspired by. But coming home and for comfort food and for nostalgia's sake, I always wanted to find a way to just play with food, because even with the technique being very technical, food is still really fun, it's very exciting, it's very emotional for me. So I wanted to do Fauna Food Works to embody all of that. So it's like fun street food with a lot of care and detail to the technique and the products that we use. And we do try to use a lot of local products too as well.
Which is fantastic.
Yes.
And talking about products and ingredients, nobody is going to remember everything that they've just seen. So go to mpbonline.org/fit-to-eat to find this full recipe of everything that you're seeing here, and even more information on what we've been talking about today. Now, what I'm going to do at this point, I want this to really kind of brown.
Okay.
Almost to the point where it burns, and I find, and this was Nathaniel's trick, it was the way he could really impart more flavor, and people are scared to do that at home. Everybody, like, I try to explain to people how to cook fish or how to do this. If you don't sear it, and it gives it such the flavor in the dish,
Yes.
And it's really hard to impart that to people, because you could sit there and say, well, gee, my shrimp are orange, they're cooked through, they must be right. But to me, an etouffee really has a browning nature to the sauce.
Yes.
And the trick that really we did when we were doing this mass scale is we almost burned that trinity before we even did anything.
Okay.
Speed's sake here, I like to do it, and also a lot of people might say, it looks burned, I don't want to eat it, but that's really how you can get some great flavor. So now, while we've got this, there you go. You see what I'm talking about? And that one little flip is just about perfect, because now what we've got, if you'll just pat that down flat, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And what we're going to end up with is that natural browning where we've done nothing, and added really nothing beyond that.
And so that even makes it healthier.
And isn't that the cool part? That's really the thickening of the cauliflower. I know, it's just, and I guess that's a lot of what Fit to Eat is about. are little simple tricks that people can do at home that'll give them the same kind of feeling that they're not missing out on
anything.
Yep.
If no flavor, the flavor is still there.
And I'm going to tell you, when you try this at the end, you're going to be shocked. Because it really does. It's got all the same kind of Creole flavor that I know you grew up with.
Oh, absolutely.
What I love working with you, I can tell you got the same passion about food that I do. That's what gets me excited. And people are like, you know, Rob, that's just a little strange. I'm like, it's not strange at all. If you love what you do, I don't feel like I ever have to work.
Absolutely.
All right, so now we're going to take what's in there and do it one more time, and you can see now we really are getting that browning into the area that I wanted it. Especially, you see how the vegetables, oh my gosh. That is good. Well, I tell you what, we are going to take a quick break and check in with registered dietitian Rebecca Turner. She's got some great tips about how to make sure you're getting enough fiber in your diet, including one we're using in our recipe today. Check it out.
Whole grains, such as brown rice, are essential to building a healthy diet due to its abundance of dietary fiber. In fact, it's impossible to lead a heart-healthy lifestyle without adequate dietary fiber. Fiber found in fruits, vegetables, legumes, and whole grains, they do your digestive grunt work. It isn't a glamorous job, but ample fiber keeps your digestive system running smoothly. It keeps the gunk and the junk from hanging out in your vessels and veins, leading to that dangerous buildup. Eating enough dietary fiber daily is one way to significantly reduce your risk of heart disease, diabetes, and weight gain. So how much fiber should you be eating? Well, according to the American Heart Association, the daily value for fiber is 25 grams based on a 2,000 calorie diet for adults. Yet the average American eats only about 16 grams of fiber per day. Now you can boost your daily fiber by eating a fruit, vegetable, or both at every meal and snack. I want you to start your day with old-fashioned oats, bran cereal, or even a bowl of fruit. Make the switch to whole grain breads and pastas. And think ancient grains when you think of side dishes: quinoa, barley, or brown rice. Let legumes be a staple in your diet. A half a cup of beans packs a big fiber punch. Now it's important to note, if your body is slowly adjusting to more fiber, spread out your portions between meals instead of eating a lot in a single serving. Get plenty of fiber every day, and your meals will be fit to eat.
Welcome back to Fit to Eat. I'm here with Enrika Williams, owner of Fauna Food Works in Jackson, and we are almost done with our recipe. You've been great.
Oh,
You're hired. You're hired 10 times over. All right, last part of our dish, and this is an atypical version of turnip greens. So I know you've been brought up, and I'm sure everybody has eaten turnip greens.
Yes.
This is not going to be the norm that most people would think of. So I'm taking right now, and I've got some actual ground turkey instead of bacon, and this is very lean ground turkey, so that it's actually very healthy. We're going to throw some garlic in there, black pepper. God, it's nice having a helper like you. White pepper. So similar flavors that we've been using the whole segment. Yeah, that's looking good. Then we're going to toss a little bit of our red bell pepper because the color of this one is so important. And then we can get all of this out the way. And I tell you what, while we're doing this, I'm going to look at how beautiful that little
nice
rice
one.
cake came out. Set it right here on the plate. And let's see, on this one, another nice little cake. And you see I've got some left over? That is going on this plate over here.
Yes.
Where you will actually get to try a little bit of all of the above. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, that turkey looks good. We're going to flash it and put our greens right into the pan.
Okay.
And they're actually literally going to be steaming, and we're going to add a little bit of our wine around the edge. And you'll see them slowly shrink in size. That means they're doing what we want to, which is kind of wilting. And I like to keep them almost crunchy.
Okay.
So now, let's do this. You get to actually sample.
Hey.
Now, I'm a little nervous. I've got a true pro here.
Stop.
I am. Well, you know, that's just what it's about. Isn't that
This is
different?
really good.
Isn't that different?
It is, but I like it.
All right, so now we're going to take our plate and make our base of our turnip green. And you see, I keep it to where it is still beautiful, fresh, and green. Then we're going to take and put a little bit of our sauce of our bell pepper and all for the color right here on the side.
This kind of reminds me of a lettuce wrap.
Yeah, isn't it neat? It is, where you keep it kind of crunchy on purpose. So we've got this now, and I'm going to dress this up just a little bit. And again, you go to mpbonline.org/fit-to-eat. And now we'll take and put the star of the show right directly across those greens, keeping a little bit of separation. Look how beautiful those shrimp are, huh?
That is really good.
It is such a fun dish to do, and it's really easy, and it's a quick version of a classic dish. Let's set this up here where it can be seen. All I want to do is get some of these beautiful shrimp out so people can see how pretty they are when they go to eat it. You know what I mean? You eat so much with your eyes, huh?
Yes.
That's so important. Well, we are out of time, but I think everything turned out great. I want to thank Enrika Williams for joining us today. And if you want to learn more about anything you've seen in this episode, then head over to mpbonline.org/fit-to-eat. And don't forget to follow and like our Facebook page. Until next time, I'm your host, Rob Stinson. Eat well.